Hey there, welcome back. Josh Hardy here with Hardy Brothers Outdoors. Today we're going to review the Polaris Ranger Crew 570. You may have seen Jason's review of the two-seater. This is the four-seater, and I had a little bit different experience than he had. Stick around, let's talk about it. So I've owned this machine for about 6 years, and when I first bought this property, we bought it to use out here on 70 acres. We now have 150 total acres, and we use this thing all the time. So today I'm going to tell you about what I love about it and what I don't like so much about it. And what if you were to buy one tomorrow, or if I were to buy another one tomorrow, which by the way I would buy another one, but I would do it a little bit differently. So let's jump in and let me tell you what I really like about this thing. All right, so what I like about this is a 570. It's never felt underpowered to me. So we've got some pretty good hills around here. We drag logs, we pull trailers, we use it all the time. And I've never felt like, wow, I wish I would have gone with the 900 or the 1000. Now, there's other advantages to those, like clearance. In addition to the horsepower, there's some size differences, things like that, creature comforts. But in terms of power, this one is done just fine for me. It's roomy. It's very roomy. So it's got seating for 4. You can fit 6, but it's only got seat belts for 4. So it's done what I set out to achieve when I bought it, which is be able to take my family of 4 wherever we wanted to go. If we want to throw stuff in the back to go to the pond, we all 4 climb in. And when we've got, if we're not riding and going kind of in areas that are dangerous, we'll throw 6 in there and just kind of wedge people in. So it has been what we wanted from a roomy perspective. And a lot of people, kind of told us, hey, this is not going to be good for that property. There's too many hills. You're going to get stuck. You're going to bottom out. You're not going to be able to turn around. You're not going to be able to maneuver. Not true. It's worked out just fine for us. And so Jason has the 570 two-seater, and it gets around just fine and is great and maybe a little more nimble. Same size engine, bigger body, more capacity, but we have not had any kind of major challenges in terms of maneuverability or in terms of bottoming out or anything like that. Additionally, it has the dump bed, and we keep that thing full all the time. We're taking firewood. Right now it's full of forestry management stuff, chainsaws, helmets, chaps, stuff like that we were using out here a couple weekends ago to clear autumn olive on the Habitat Oasis. It's got a glove box for storage up front, a couple little areas you can put some stuff that aren't closed up, and it also has a big storage area underneath the front seat. So great capacity for storage. In fact, the stuff that's in there, I don't ever go in there to get it out, but I've got stuff in there like an air compressor. I've got a plug kit for my tires, so if I'm back here and I need to fix a tire, fix a flat, I can do that and get back to the house without a problem because it's a pretty good walk. So really like that. It's a workhorse, does everything we want it to do. It's roomy, it's got good storage, and in terms of the power, it's never let us down. So that's what I like about it. So here's what I don't like about it. There's 2 primary things, and these can be fixed. More money or a little bit of a different approach when buying. The first one is it's not hard to maneuver so much because of the terrain or whatever else, but the steering. Power steering would be so much better on this thing. It would be easy to whip around. I've actually driven the full-size version that my my brother-in-law, his dad has, and the power steering is great. I mean, just whip around is easy. So back to the days when you drove a car without power steering, and now that you have one, you can't imagine not having it. My wife and I both agree. Spring for the power steering. It's available in the premium version, and it's available as an option in this version, in the full-size version. The other thing that's probably my biggest complaint about this is the undercarriage. There's no skid plate. There's a lot of areas that are that cause a lot of room for mud and whatever else to come up. And you can tell just by looking at this, you know, we don't baby this thing. We don't wash it every time, because every time we take it out, we have to go through mud. We have a lot of areas on the property that need some significant work done to reroute water and prevent, you know, the mud puddles that we have. So every time we drive it, we end up caking it with mud. Now that's created a lot of issues for me, because it's muddy everywhere. So my garage is muddy. The inside of it is constantly dirty. When you look underneath the seats, everything underneath of it is coated with mud. And that's where the battery is. The battery's not even in a protected area. It's got like a bungee that holds it down in a little spot that just catches all of the water and mud. And I had put a battery tender on there, and just noticed the other day that it was just, you couldn't even tell it was on there. So it needs a good cleaning, but it could be better protected underneath there. You know, I didn't buy it to just, you know, ride around on the roads and open fields. We use it all across this property, fields, woods, what have you. But here's the big thing, and this is probably the biggest complaint that I have on this. The lack of the skid plate. The lack of the skid plate. I have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 incidents where sticks, and large sticks, enough to break the floor, enough to break the dash, have come up and through the bottom of the side-by-side. This has never happened on Jason's 2-seater, so there's something to do with the wheelbase. What I think is happening is that when if you hit a stick in the middle of a path and it comes up underneath the tire, it's getting lifted up and then jammed up through the floor as you drive over it. And so it's getting wedged in and then ran over. This happened to me in the first 20 minutes of owning this machine. I had the floor bust through, and you know, it's still there. The floor still works, but it's cracked and pretty bad. It recently happened to the other side. Probably the scariest one we had was we were going up a hill with my neighbor, and a stick came up off the tire, through the dash, and hit him right in the inside of his thigh. We're out here pretty remote. It's a good half-hour minimum to the nearest hospital, and that was a pretty scary time. Luckily, he had very heavy coveralls on, and he was safe. He didn't get injured, but it scared him and it scared me. Now, didn't scare him so much that when I recommended that, when he asked me whether I'd buy another one of these, I said yes, absolutely, and he went and bought one. He did not get the skid plate yet, but he's thinking about it. And I need the skid plate now because I've got holes everywhere. And again, this isn't from abuse. This is just from riding trails that may have sticks or wood that has fallen on them. Not logs, just sticks. So, number one complaint on that. And if I were to do it again, I would have it factory installed with skid plate, as well as covers for the back near the axle, the CV boots. I've had at least 2 CV boots replaced from things jamming in and ripping those. So a little more common. I think that's happened to Jason as well. So not just on this model, but that's my number one complaint. So if you're going to buy one of these, consider getting power steering and a skid plate. And strongly suggest the skid plate. Power steering is nice to have. So the other kind of things that you need to know about, they come without a windshield and they come without a roof. We added the roof and the windshield. That was probably about $1,000. We bought this years ago. It seems like the prices are pretty similar now as they were back then. I talked to my neighbor who just bought his. He's in the military, so he got a 10% discount, and they also have a farm and ranch discount about the same. We didn't qualify for either of those. Maybe with the future of the Habitat Oasis and the things we're doing here, we might be able to get some farm recognition. So maybe the next one. So I would absolutely buy another Polaris. We've used them a lot. We didn't shop around, so I don't have experience with other ones, but I'm confident in what I have is a good machine. Starts when I want it to start. The only other thing that I've ever had to really replace on it was the battery. And I also replaced a starter, which I made a video, one of my very first videos actually, of replacing the starter, only to find out that it was the battery. So great machine, good brand. Haven't had any problems with any of that other than number one, the skid plate. All right, so I hope you found that useful. If you did, if you don't mind, hit that like button. It really helps us out a lot. And if you think you might like more content from Hardy Brothers Outdoors, hit that subscribe button and press that little bell icon next to it so you can be notified when our next ones come out. And remember, 20 degrees or not, it's beautiful out. Outdoors is always in season. Find something to get yourself outdoors. Thanks a lot. See you next time.